Hi, hello, and today I am translating with a very special topic, and this topic will be about the oncology, about the cancers, about the tumors. I will speak about oncology from my own experience, and of course, I do erotic photography, nude photo shoots, and I get to see clients and hear clients who come to create erotic photo shoot for their confidence. They need a boost in their body and in their mental state because they had oncology, because they had a cancer, because they had an operation, because they had a health issue experience that traumatized them and make them feel little bit less worthy, right? And this is going to be my first video about cancer oncology erotic photo shoots, why people doing it, okay? And of course I will speak about, like I said, about my own experience, what I know about the cancer, what I know about the oncology, and how I can relate it with erotic photography, okay? And this is I did not prepare, so I will do a very spontaneous stream, but this is the first stream. People will be interested to know because there is a lot of cases like that, okay? So first of all, let me just bring this up. I am a medical professional. I studied medicine for 7 years in university. I have 2 master degrees, okay? And I worked in a hospital, but I've changed my profession here in London, okay? My partner last year died from brain tumor, and he was CEO of NHS. He was managing 3 hospitals in London, okay? So it's not that I'm now gonna speak without no experience, okay, or no knowledge. I had, in the past, okay, I had a cervical cancer, and very recently I recovered from the brain tumor myself. Okay, so when I speak with people who had this or still going on, I can tell you that behind every cancer, behind every tumor, there is a big pain. Okay, there is big pain, there is big depression, there is guilt, and there is victim feeling. It is an emotional. It's starting, the cancer starting emotionally much earlier. Okay, then it will kick in. What is psychologically, what is the cancer? I can tell you this is an ego protective system. Okay, your ego creates a lot of cells and creates more and more to protect you. Okay, it doesn't do anything wrong with you, right? It's not there to harm you, it's there to protect you. It just creates so many that eventually it kills you, right? So from where I should go, you know, let me start from this cervical cancer experience. I had, you know, because now I can associate these things and I can relate these things. And the first cancer came into my body because I was very disappointed in me, in myself, and in the relationship, right? I had a partner for 3 years who was practicing, for me at that time, maybe a normal thing, right? He was stopping himself during ejaculation, right? So he believed that it will save his energy and he will be stronger, right? There is no scientific research, but that was his belief. And for years I was thinking that's a great thing because I cannot get pregnant, right? But then with time I realized that I want this, you know, I want this experience and I want this, you know, to come together thing, and I constantly blame myself that this is me who cannot make this happen, you know? So that's what I'm saying. The cancer, the tumor comes much earlier. We just do not recognize it, do not realize it, do not see what are the reasons. But the reasons comes from around you, okay, and then become your problem, become your issue, right? So that's how it is. With the brain tumor, I can tell you this, it came also from my depression and from my disappointment, from my despair, okay, in my relationship, right? And the cancer started eating me, right? It started eating me to the point that it ate all my fat. It ate all my fat. I became bone and skin, right? Then what else? I couldn't, because my partner worked in a hospital, I did all of the possible imaginable, okay, tests. I did, and no one can find anything. I just knew inside of me that there is something wrong, because you see, I become much muscular. I looked like anorexic, okay? And the most devastating for woman thing, it was not that I was in pain every day, because I was in such a huge pain. My sight worsened, okay? I could not do anything with my hands. Imagine you holding the cup and you losing, like dropping it, you know, you just losing it. I had, how to say, like a burning pain all over my body. I had so many very strange symptoms, and I could not define them or put them somewhere, right? And I was in pain all the time for 3 years till it stopped. So it ate all of my fat, and my breast, which were double D, they disappeared. And I remember that moment looking down and looking at my bra, and it was empty. And I know that majority of people who would watch me, usually I have 70% of men. Imagine you looking down and you have no nuts. That's how it felt, okay? So when the woman coming to a erotic photo shoot for me and saying that they had a cancer, or they had a certain treatment and so on, they feel victimized. They feel, you know, from one side, they feel that they won, okay, and they defeated, right? But there are other people who would think that, you know, they feel victims after this experience. For me personally, I've realized that the cancer was created by me, okay? So I'm not feeling good or bad about it, okay? It's just an experience, okay? My oncology and my brain tumor is just an experience which I had to go through. The way people can... you see, my partner very much relied on NHS, and that is why he died, right? And what I did is I discharged myself from the hospital, and I decided that I will do my own gig, right? And I will do my own things. And it took me 3 years, okay? 3 years to recover. The hardest bit was to put on weight, okay? But even then I found the way, okay? Practicing it, in 3 months I start bringing up the weight. So everything is possible. I am just saying, this is your ego, emotional system protecting you, okay? If you have a cancer or a tumor, it doesn't matter, right? This is only up to you. How you're gonna do it and what you're gonna do it, right, with it. But because I mentioned this on Facebook, there was some people who would want to know more, and I must talk about it and put it on my website. People who are interested in nude photography and take pictures of their body, okay, coming my way after this illness, right? In September, I will be shooting women who will lost both her breasts, okay? And I had previously shot people who had cancers, who had tumors, and I never said anything, okay, about my situation, right? How I went through this, because it literally, it took me 3 years to recover. Okay, it took me 2 years to diagnose and find out what is that, why I am feeling in pain. You know, when you're working on a computer, right? I'm a photographer, I'm editing pictures. I could not do anything with my hands for like a really long time. I could not even write my name with the pen. I was not able. I was not able. And you know, when you do not understand what's happening within you, you're looking for some answers, you're looking everywhere, right? There is nowhere to look. I was just blind and not connected with myself, okay? Because I had a certain influence that was killing me from inside. Okay, as soon as I removed that object, when I say this object who was killing me, I got into recovery straight away. So that is the first thing. There is a reason why you have this cancer. There is something protecting you from yourself, right? For me personally, I could not take certain decisions. I would rather stay and suffer than change, you know, a partner or change the job or change something. This was, you know, the reason was me. You know, the reason was me. So what I was saying, how I recovered, okay, very quickly. Okay, so first of all, because I had a traumatic experience. I had a head injury and broken spine, right? I went and they did an MRI scan for me. And when they scanned my head, they saw, okay, the brain tumor. So this unfortunate event was the moment when I found out what is, what is wrong with me. And at that time, they told me that I'm not going to walk, because my nerve cord is absolutely broken. And so then, I just was happy that I found out that I have a tumor, you see? Because when I knew what it was, I knew that I could fix it, okay? That's what it is. So how I fixed it? I fixed in a few ways. First, I looked at my nutrition, okay? Because brain made of fat. Okay, by this day I'm eating fatty food. Okay, I look at my nutrition, but it did not work for a really long time. Okay, I could not put any weight. And then I looked at the brain ventilation. Okay, and brain ventilation is something what I've, practiced every day. And brain ventilation comes from the singing. When you sing, you bring a lot of air, oxygen into your brain. Okay, because usually you would not probably stay and sing for 1 hour. Okay, and I even went and did some singing, like professional, like some lessons. I'm not saying that I focus on that, but that's how I approached my tumor. Okay, so first of all, I identified what is the reason why I have this tumor. And when you really connect it with yourself, your body is telling you, your mind is telling you what is the reason. Okay, you just need to eliminate that. Then ventilation, more oxygen to your brain, and then more cholesterol, more fat into your life, right? And then, of course, control. Okay, control your emotions, right? Because you see, as a machine, we are made from the programs which are running constantly inside of you. It's like a routine life we're having, right? And these programs are not interested that we will be happy, okay? These programs are interested that we will be safe, okay? So they are protecting us. And like I say, there are programs which are related to your psychology, emotional state, is your ego, okay? And there are alter egos. I speak in my videos when I speak about erotic photography, because alter egos define themselves in adulthood, okay? That's what's related with erotic fantasies, okay? People, you see, erotica is a repair which happening in your mind from the traumatic experience most of the time, right? So if you being scared to being attacked or used or so on in adulthood, you actually have a fantasy about this. Okay, in my studio, erotic studio, I focus maybe on a few main fantasies, which are threesome, okay, and a cuckold fantasy. Not because I want to focus on that, but because the couples which I shoot most of the time bring up these experiences that they want to try, right? But fetish and BDSM fantasies as well are very popular, and these comes from the alter ego. That's what I've seen. In adult business, you see there are a lot of alter ego deformations and expressions. And I believe some of them are healthy and some of them are not. And the ones which are not healthy, of course, are related to health and safety issues. Okay, so usually I would not work towards that field, okay, but I'm very, very open-minded and tolerable. I understand that this fixes people, okay? It doesn't mean that they would practice this all the time, but they need to let that program, demon, okay, how you call this, alter ego to come out, okay? And why I'm saying a lot of names, because you know, different educational systems, or in general, different system has their own names, okay? If we speak about philosophy, it will be psychology, it will be an alter ego, right? If I speak very basic, you know, I would say a demon, you know? A demon comes out and wants to play, and constantly in your mind. It's like, you know, the programming, you're constantly talking to you, right? That's why we have a lot of fetishes. That's why it's like an obsession, you know? It's like an obsession. So I want to connect those things, because you see, oncology, okay, and in general cancer comes from the emotional state. That's where it starts, okay? And it is a traumatic experience most of the time. It doesn't start from the happy place. Oncology starts not there. You know, it starts much earlier, okay, then it appears in your body and it indicates something, and then you will feel the feelings. Like I say, oncology starts from the sadness, from the grief, from the disappointment, from the depression, from you feeling unworthy and a victim, okay? It starts in a very bad place, okay? That's where, and sometimes people even haven't been abused, okay? They just have that program. And what I'm saying is program, you see our mind enjoying to stay in torture and in pain, you know? Our mind in general, they in a negative emotion, they keep you longer than in a positive. Negative emotion keep winding itself up for 1 hour and a half, 15 minutes. No, like it's a long time, right? If you repeat it and you think about it, it's going to be longer. So you can stay for hours and sometimes for days in the negative emotion, okay? Because your brain enjoys that, right? And when you're feeling a positive emotion, it stays very short time, okay? Really short time, 5 minutes. So basically, when you go into your adulthood, we are here to train our brain to stay in a positive emotion longer, you know, and just code ourselves for a happy and enjoy life. Just basically code ourselves. It's like a skill we need to acquire through life, okay? When I'm saying a skill, I just remember Down syndrome. Okay, we think that the Downs are, you know, they have a gene problem, right? And that's why something wrong with them. But I don't think this way. Okay, I think that people do not understand. Okay, what is going on, because they are constantly happy. You see, what is the difference between them and us? They don't have cancers. Downs don't have any tumors. You check this information and you would understand, okay? So this is something what probably scientists are researching why and how, you know? But that's the thing. They are in a positive vibration. And we like to, you know, to go into pain and to suffer and punish ourselves. And when I talk about punishment, it means I'm not good enough, you know, I'm not skinny enough, I'm not pretty enough, I'm not successful enough, I'm not making enough money, I'm not, you know, a good mother or good enough mother, and so on and so on. This comparison and these standards are just, how to say, changing our perspective, right? So the main and probably the foremost important thing, what I have not mentioned yet, but it helped me with my tumor, okay, treatment, is that I looked at other people's pictures, okay, because I'm an erotic content creator and my hands were like paralyzed in pain. I couldn't edit much. For 3 years, I was at least looking at those pictures because these people were healthy and because the photography is able to capture the program of other people, okay? And when I'm shooting couples, their program is positive. And when you create a erotic photo shoot, there is no violence, okay? There is no torture in here. There is no pain. So I was able to put myself on a different frequency by watching my own art. You understand? When I was suggesting this therapy, oncotherapy, to my partner who was dying from the cancer, he refused. He just didn't understand how it will help him, because he was thinking that, you know, there are serious surgeons from US, you know, he's contacted and so on, and they will help him, you know. And I did respected his, you know, his opinion and his wish, and of course inside I was really devastated, okay, really devastated. But but nothing I could do. There is people very stubborn with their own, you know, opinions. And that's it, you know, that's fine. He's died, you know, nothing. I just let this happen, you know, I just let this happen. Nothing you can do, you see. So this video is about erotica, and it's about oncology and how I can relate those two dimensions. You see, art in general is a therapy. Okay, why is it therapy, or why it's so much promoted in every clinic and in every healing institution, in any other institution, I don't know, hospitals, rehab places, I mean everywhere they put art. Because you see, art has a certain vibration, right? When you look at art, people start feeling something, okay? They come out of their frequency and they start feeling something else, okay? And that is why I was practicing looking at someone else's erotic photography and feeling that instead of being in my own state, right? Eating up with the cancer. So that helped me, okay? I believe that those things really helped me. And if you want to have a question, okay, you can ask me a question, I will answer. Otherwise, I'm gonna continue this topic, because like I said, there are people who would want to know, how did I went through this oncology, how I recovered, and how did I get my, do you see, no? There was somebody asked me, you know, oh, Julia, have you done a boob job? And I said, no, they grow back. Okay, so I managed from the zero, okay, from the zero breast size, okay, chest size or breast size, go back to my previous, okay, size, which is also quite, you know, astonishing, right? Astonishing. The only difference now is that because I didn't need a bra for a really long time, for 5 years or so, I didn't need a bra. Was nothing to carry that. Okay, I get used to being without a bra, so that is the only the only difference, you know, before and after. Before I was obsessed with the bra, putting everything in the bra and carrying, and now I'm not. Okay, that's what is the difference. Another thing is, I recently in the shop met my youngest son teacher, and she recognized him. She saw a 6.3 foot tall young man, and she was like, oh, I remember you as a baby. And then she was talking about really sad story that she recently had an operation, and she had a tumor similar to mine, which has a rapid growth, and it's not harmful, but it squeezes your brain and paralyzes you, okay, and then kills you eventually, right? So that's the situation. And I could feel that she wants, like, why this has happened to me, that kind of I'm reading her energy. First of all, why this is happening to me, it's like a guilt and a blame. Then everyone is trying to be good and nice because they feel sorry for her. Okay, these are all energies that typically happen around when someone has a tumor and a cancer, right? And that person feels like the victim, you know. And I could feel like a really strong energy, like she feels like a victim of the oncology. And that is not the right vibration to actually recover. Okay, when you recovering, you see, because I'm talking about myself, right? At the moment, I realize that there is a problem in the energy shift. Okay, and being in a different energy, okay, means that you're healthy. Staying in the victim's energy means that you are, how to say, still in the same circle. Okay, still in the same cycle. The reason why people stay in this situation for too long, okay, not because they're attached to the illness, and not because they're attached to the fact, and not even because they want to feel victims for a really long time. It's just our brain get used to. Our brain get used to everything. They get used to beautiful picture, Okay? If you have a very, very beautiful wife, or your wife will do a boob job, you will get used to. Okay? That's how the brain, operates. In the same time, when you have a certain illness, right? First of all, maybe you kind of reject it and fight it and stuff, but then later, with time, everyone get used to. Okay? If we see, for example, a drastic event happens, a war, right? With the time, people get used to, even to the war. Okay? And there is a saying, if someone is, trying to hang you, like literally hang you, even then, if they do it for a really long time, you get used to. Okay? So that's kind of a situation. So I believe that changing your energy and changing your vibration, usually when people are in a state of illness, their energy levels are very low. Okay? That's why they would accept help from someone else and they are not able fully recover or get recovery by themselves. Okay? They need help. Okay, so the help has to come, in form of the different energy, positive energy, love energy, passion energy. Okay, that's what they need to focus on. Okay, something what is moving you forward into life. Okay, and intimacy is always moving you to some action and to aliveness. Okay, to be rebellion, to do something, right? Then your body reproduction system switch on. Okay, people, when they do not feel sexual attraction or wish for intimacy or do not have erotic fantasies or do not want, closeness, their body feels ill. The mental state and the body feels ill. Okay, that's why they are alone. That's why they are alone. They just get used to for that situation, like they get used to, to any kind of illness, right? Let me check quickly what we have here. You like Latinos. Do you know where I am translating from? From London. Okay, I have models actually. I have Latino models. I don't really know much about Latinos because I come from a different side of the world, different side of the world. I never been in South America, to be fair. Maybe I've been in Mexico, but nothing lower. Have a wonderful day. Thank you so much. You gorgeous. Thank you so much. I just jumped on the call and I said I'm gonna send this video because I promised to do it about oncology. Hi, hello, hi, hello, hi, hello. I'm just checking, Happy winning Wednesday, pretty lady. Enjoy the day. I'm enjoying my day. I'm gonna go for a walk now. Okay, so if anyone has a questions, right? Today I'm talking about, like I say, from my own experience, about cancers, tumors, okay, and erotic photography. Right? So when any kind of illness happening, like I say, doesn't matter. You don't have to have a tumor. You do not have an interest. Okay? You do not have an interest. And my partner, who was dying from the tumor, okay, I approached him maybe in the last days, maybe too late. Okay, but they already do not have any interest in any, intimacy or anything. Maybe he was, he didn't want to show or something. I don't know. But in general, when the body feels ill, people do not want any intimacy. Okay? So that's the first and foremost important symptom or signal, okay, that there is something going on in your body, right? So that's the first thing. The second thing is, you see, I do erotic photography for that reason, that people can go back to their healthy state. Okay, photography for me, it's like a therapy. And we know that the phototherapy is already been discovered by a Canadian woman, and she lives in USA. Okay, and she discovered and proved that this information is recorded, okay, in the images, and that people can extract it, take it and use it, right? And in the way they can go back in the past. By saying go back into the past, We know that if we open an old album or an iPhone with 5 years memory and you go back somewhere 5 years back, you would feel those memories. You would get into that feeling, into that emotion. And if there is any love or passion or intimacy out there, that's what you would want to remember, okay, when you're trying to heal. Go back into a healthy state. That's why we need the photography, not only to analyze ourselves, not only to grow and understand how we're changing and who we are. Okay, usually I have to say I would take a picture of myself, because when I started photography, I was teaching myself on myself. But when I was ill, I hated myself. I disliked myself. Okay, and I did not take many pictures. I do have some to show how skinny I was, okay, and I do have to show some from the hospitals even. One friend videoed me when I had 4-hour epilepsy, 4-hour non-stop in the hospital, and she made the videos, you know. And she said to me, and I could hear her, and she would say, Julia, you're probably in pain. And I said, no, I'm actually enjoying this. Okay, so when I had epilepsy, you know, the body, usually you have very strong cramps, and then your body have to be tired or in pain and whatever, but it didn't happen to me. I actually enjoyed. My body released painkillers and drugs. Okay, so I was very happy. And after this epilepsy, can you imagine? I felt okay, and I discharged myself from the hospital. They did not want to let me out. Okay, after this, it was maybe 1 o'clock in the night. And then I sit down to my car and I drove back home. I cannot tell you, you know, that was crazy. Okay, but yes, that's what I did. Right, and yes, being in this state and in this condition, you think that the pain never goes away and it will never end, but I can promise you that it will, if you change your mind state. You see, when you stay in your ill and worried and unhappy and victimized energy, right, that you're a victim of the cancer or a tumor, it is unknown what will happen, okay? It is unknown, but for me, I couldn't change by myself my energy. I had to look at the art, and I had to be consumed by the artwork of other people and just go into their emotions and feelings, and that's how I would switch, okay? And for me, it is also was very easy to switch when I was singing, because I would then concentrate on the singing. I would put on the songs and I would just sing away, because I knew I need to ventilate, you know, and breathing and, you know, and singing and loud and so on. So that is something what I learned, and I would, you know, I would definitely suggest that, right? Another thing is I would like to discuss when people look for more confidence in erotic photo shoot, a nude photo shoot after situations like illness. Okay, not necessarily it has to be cancer or tumor, right? There are different kind of traumatic experiences, okay, which blocks you, and you feel as a victim. You feel, you know, that traumatic energy, and people then lose their confidence. Especially they lose that intimacy, you know, a wish for intimacy. And I can tell you this is what happened to me, okay? As soon as I lost my breasts, I didn't want any intimacy with anyone. I didn't, you know? I couldn't, you know, I couldn't accept myself. I couldn't look at myself. I couldn't see this horror. I couldn't see this horror, but at that time I didn't know what is wrong with me. Okay, and for a really long time I couldn't know, and NHS, like I said, here in London did all the tests possible, and none of the tests showed any results, okay, for any oncology. So that's what happened to me. And the only thing how I found out is when I had a head injury and spine injury, and when they scanned me, then they saw, okay? And it actually helped, you know, like basically saved my life. Because then I was just focused on fixing myself, growing back my spine and shrinking that tumor. And I did it visually. Okay, I believe that visually, and that is something what came probably to my head from two sources. Okay, the first source which I got is in the early days when I studied medicine. I had those books, okay, and I read the books about spine injuries, broken spines, how the professional athletes were getting back into sport, or at least putting themselves back on the feet. So I read these books and I was absolutely inspired. Okay, I even imagine, how is this possible, you know? So I believe there is a part of me being guilty then, okay, because I kind of wished for that, to know or to experience with my own life, with my own body. Okay, I'm not gonna lie, this happened many years ago, maybe 30. Okay, but I do remember that I thought about this. I wonder how it would be, you know, to be able to do this, right? So this has happened, as well as if I speak about the cancer started, they were talking about it also, you know, maybe 30 years ago. And I was just thinking, oh my gosh, I wonder how is it feels to get that news that you have a cancer, okay? So I also called it to myself, right? I don't, you know, I try to focus on myself, not on anyone else. So this is me, Julia, who did this, okay, to me, right? But in those books about the cancer and other, you know, traumatic experiences, like restoring your spine, you know, the nerve cord, you know, there was like a lot of proof that people did it, okay? And because I had it imprinted in my own body and mind, I knew that I can do it, okay? I can do it. So when I saw my spine, you see the spine is like, you know, vertebrae, right? But then, you know, the broken spine looks like two pieces, okay? Two different pieces. That's what you would see on your x-ray. Okay, and that two pieces were connected with a very small, you know, like you hardly even see this, with the very small hair string, okay? And so when I spoke with neurosurgeon, she's saying like, look, you can see, she says, I don't know how you're still, you know, able to walk, but it's gonna soon will end. And she said that I'm gonna pee myself and poo myself very soon, you know, because that's what usually people do in this, you know, situation. And what I saw is just that little string which still attached to one and the second part, okay? And in my head, I thought that I can grow it bigger. You see? I thought, no, that's a good thing, okay? So I can grow this bigger, right? But because I have a medical background, you know, probably that was a successful move, okay, for me, because I kind of knew that I can do it, and then feeling yourself and knowing yourself helped me through the photography to understand myself, and just felt in the stages what I need to do when, because you really need to be tuned in your body, okay? And what I'm saying is tune in your body is this. When I do an erotic photo shoot and men are not tuned in their body, they cannot control their erection. When there is a certain, how to say, from outside, a certain interaction, right? There is a person with the camera, for example, right? Me. Person with the camera, and we're shooting nude photography, and then we're shooting erection shots, okay? Not everyone can perform. They think that they can. They say, yes, Julia, I want this photo shoot and stuff. But then they go into, you know, a erotic part where they need to perform it, and they realize that in their head, they know that they want it. In their mind, they understand that they can do it, but the body does not perform. Okay? It's like driving a car, and they think they're going forward, but actually the car is standing. You understand? The picture's not happening. There is no erection, no matter how he would try. Yeah. So usually people are not aware about this, that they are out of the tune, you know? It's out of They're not feeling themselves that well. And when I look at the body, I always say, this is a suit that you are wearing. There is something inside that suit, you know, or a glove, and you put your hand in the glove and then you can control it, right? But there is something in that glove, okay? And who is in that glove is the egos and alter egos, right? The feelings, emotions, right? That's why we come to this life, to experience things. We get everything through the emotions and experience, the sensations, right? Through our body and mind, right? And our machine sometimes not listening to us. So when I was recovering from oncology, I was very much in tune. I was so much in tune. I was actually, because my neck was swollen, okay, I could not move, not left, not right. And I knew that, there's a very small string in there, which can get, broken if I do something wrong, Scariest part. So I was like, machine and robot for a few years. Okay, and then I went into certain treatment myself. Okay, I can just quickly tell you that I was hanging myself on the ropes, okay, by myself, okay, and then I was going to swimming pools with someone because I could get paralyzed in there. So sometimes I was, and people were carrying me out of the swimming pool. It's actually scary to be in a swimming pool, when you know that you can be paralyzed, because you can drown anytime, you have to be like very courageous, to do a lot of things. But like I say, you would not be able to do any of those things if you do not feel your body. And during that time, I had a lot of epilepsy attacks. And they were more gentler, and then, I would just totally feel, and I know that in 15 or half an hour it will be finished, and I could move my body and so on. So being in a state or in an illness, it is also very often people are not aware. Okay? And when oncology happened to me, I was not aware. I was not. I was just, at the beginning, I was even happy because I was losing weight without no reason. And at one point I had to change all my wardrobe because from the size 12, I went to the size 4. Okay, imagine. When I went to the children's section and I was buying myself clothes in the children's section because there was no adults like that. Okay, I was very skinny at the time. Okay, I was very skinny. So now I can, you see, it has to go through some time that I could remember this and I could tell the things, right? And, oh my gosh. When I remember this, it's not funny. Seriously, it's not funny at all, right? It took me many years. But I remember that day when I stopped feeling the pain, because I would wake up and I would go into the day with the constant pain. And the pain was very strange. It, like, imagine if someone would take the hooks, and hook your nerves and hook your, everything what it has inside and try to rip it off. That kind of a pain, like very strange pain. It's not a tooth pain. It's not, muscle pain. It's like someone is trying to pull out, your your inner parts. It's very strange pain. So I did not take any painkillers, you see, because I grew up in pain, okay, and I lived in pain. So I just thought I will just get used to this, and if my life is gonna be the pain forever, for the rest of my life, I just better, I would just better learn this, okay, to live with it. But when I slept, I wasn't in pain. It was just hard to fall asleep with pain. But when I slept, I wasn't, okay? The moment I wake up, I just straight away went into the pain. And then one day it finished, okay? One day it finished. So everyone can do it, okay? And like I say, this oncology creeps in on you when you do not expect it, but it always starts from the depression. It always starts from the bad feelings, from the negative feelings. I was absolutely devastated with my relationship, okay? And I was just in despair. You see, in despair, not knowing what to do, you know, and not be able to take any decision about this. Okay, the reason why, because you see, when I was growing up, it was okay that your partner would be like mistreating you or violent to you. Okay, it was just okay, it was just normal thing, right? And that's how I stayed a really long time in there, in this situation. And I waited for that moment till it will be enough. Okay, it will be enough. And one day it was. Okay, I had a broken spine and a head injury, and it was enough. And then I said no. No, it's enough. Okay, that's what happened to me. Okay, so I actually, how to say, did myself a favor, and everything, you know, in life, everything is fair. I can tell you. You know, everything is there. We always have a choice. Always have a choice, even if we think we don't. Okay, always have a choice. And oncology is the choice. Okay, if you do not make a choice, your body will make a choice for you. It will start killing you. Because you're dying anyway. You know, if you don't want to live, okay, or you do not belong here because you are, you know, a necessary part in the system, they will terminate you. Okay, they will terminate you. And when I say they, you know, how to say, I keep telling that we are programs here, and there is a control operation. You know, someone is there, is controlling all this, you know, it's like a pilot's, you know, driving, leading this plane, but there is a, you know, something above operating this machine and so on. So the same with our body, okay? We have a highest power who's arranging all of that, you see. And so let me just finish this video with a nice, how to say, maybe with the nice note that we are in charge and we are choosing how we want to live our life, okay? And if we are choosing to live in pain, sooner or later your body will sabotage you, you know, sabotage you, because we designed to live in happiness. Although our brain enjoys pain and enjoys to suffer and enjoys to talk about, you know, negative things or discuss negative things or stay in the negative emotions, we are here still to reprogram ourselves. Okay, I believe that adulthood is that time when we break our programs. Okay, we come in the world, we come from a different systems and different programmings, okay, and the programming happening with the very early age. People who surround you, educational, you know, systems who surround you later, then, you know, like family, friends, and work colleagues, and so there are a lot of people who are involved, you know, in your programming. But I believe that everyone is responsible with their own life, okay? And not knowing yourself, not feeling yourself, and not feeling that universe is the way to die, you know? About dying, I also can tell a lot of things about dying. I can see 68 messages. Okay, 68 messages, but if I would scroll this on the screen, I don't see anything. So I please apologize because I could not see this, right? I can go one more time. Okay, keep it up. I can go and read it out if I will see this. Just a second, let me check. I can see people join here. How you can be joined so one name for so many times? I don't know, crazy. Okay, I'm just saying hi. Hi, and today I am recording a video about what's your fantasy. What's my fantasy? Like, I just, you know, if I will tell you my fantasy, you would know what is my traumatic experience. I am just explaining this, that the erotic fantasy, it's a repair in your brain. And if I will tell you what is my fantasy, you would understand what happened to me in the childhood, okay? That's what it is. The fantasy is. It's supposed to be there, okay? Outfit check. Beautiful and gorgeous. Thank you. God bless. Thank you. Okay, I do not see more of the images, right? But let me just continue this. About death, maybe I'll discuss on a different topic, right? Because we're speaking about oncology and we're speaking about going forward after this, right? And there are a lot of people who would choose themselves and they want to feel normal. Okay, after, you know, after this situation, what would happen? Conditions, what would happen? I believe that everyone can treat themselves if they would have a knowledge and experience. Okay, I believe that majority of people who has these conditions, they go into health institutions, and health institutions have certain regulations towards the treatments, and of course they sell a lot of drugs towards that. They been programmed, okay, to give you that. I believe that your body is the biggest pharmacy, or more, the most mysterious pharmacy, okay, the most powerful pharmacy that you can actually attend to. And I know that I am right. Your body is able to synthesize anything. Okay, the most powerful and the most, how to say, the most best drug that you will need. That's how I thought about it when I was thinking that I need to shrink, melt. And in general, when I thought about my tumor, I'm always imagining it calcified. Okay, calcified and just from a certain size, okay, shrink to very limited. I never thought in my head that I could actually eliminate it, right? But I know if I will make it a pea size, okay, it can stay. It will not give you, you know, any harm. As soon as it's, you know, more than 2.5 centimeters bigger, your tumor in your brain, then it can, you know, it can press some certain areas and it can, you know, make some damage, right? But I did not know. I don't know how to remove the tumor, but I know how to kill it and how to make it and, you know, and stop functioning, you know. So this is what we do. The reason why I'm saying this, you see, I have birthmarks on my body, right? Or we have some skin tags in our body. Okay, these are, you know, these are similar elements which grown in time. Okay, when you was a child, they were not there. Okay, so you growing everything inside your body, right? The way you're growing it, the way you can ungrow. That's just logical, okay? If you look at your conscious mind, right, and understand that everything happened in a certain way and your body developed in a certain way, right? And if you come back in time, in that time when you can come back with a photography, then you was healthy. You see, that's why you need a photography, to actually witness that in terms of your energy. So you could practice that, going back with a photography in that time when you was okay and when you was healthy. That's the first way how you can change your frequency in your body. But for me personally, I watched others, okay, because I am getting more inspired when others are happy, okay? When others are happy, you know, and I don't need to see, you know, how they are happy. The best moments for me are intimate moments. So I looked at the photo shoots, of course. I have an archive, and I looked how other people make love and stayed in that frequency, okay? And that's the art that I've created, and that's the thing what I used. And I looked at that every day. Okay? If someone, you know, has people around them worrying about having a tumor or something in their head, that's what they need to consider. So being self-aware, nutrition, eat a lot of fat, because the brain is a fat organ, soft organ, right? Ventilate your brain and change your emotional energy state, because that's where the illness came out. Okay? Long time before you had physical changes, right? People need to think and identify why they want to kill themselves. Why they want to die? What's so drastic and dramatic in their life? Why they are so sad or unhappy? Okay? Why they are disappointed? Or who is killing them? Okay? Seriously, that's all about the tumor. Okay? And I would like to leave this, information, because people are scared. Okay, scared of the other information, of all these other things, what is going on. Because, I had to say, there is not many talking about happy experiences or happy treatments, okay, or alternative treatments, right? If you would go to any medical institution, they want to drug you and cut you. There are two ways. If you speak with the surgeon will cut you because that's what he taught to do, That's what he knows, okay? And that's what he paid for, Clinic gets money for this, okay, to do an operation, even more, okay? Or everyone is, put on the drugs. And if we look at US, that is like a huge percentage of people who taking drugs. I don't take any drugs, any medications, okay? But I can tell you, my mom, okay, she's an old school, okay? She believes in drugs, okay? She's different. She believes in drugs. And there was a really long time someone put her on drugs for a liver, okay? And in 25 years, she developed cirrhosis, and that is like very bad, like the liver is kaput, And me and my friend, okay, she's managing clinics now at the moment, saying like there has to be a reason outside, something is wrong. And then I spoke with my mom, and she's just randomly 25 years taking some medicine, okay, and killing her liver. She feels better. She thinks she feels better. The moment we took her off these medications, in a few days, her analysis changed, improved. I said, Mom, you're killing yourself. That's why you had this. It's very serious. You could die. So that's the thing, And medicine is like this. Okay, medicine is like this, and we know that pharmacy is the #1 business on our planet. So pharmacy is #1 business on our planet, and the oil is #2. Okay, who is interested to do this business? Or who is interested to make us ill, or think that we are ill? Or who is interested to tell us that we cannot fix it by ourselves? Okay, who is interested? Who's not going to make money then? If we can. Because we can. We can grow back things. And we can go back with our health. Just return into a certain state. We can. Okay? So, there is a mystical information I can tell you about these cancers and tumors, which probably now people who believe in science and who believe in logic and who believe in, quantum physics or other things would probably be surprised to hear this from me, right? But I am part I am, like I said, I studied medicine and I'm kind of knowledgeable on that part, but then I've seen and I've been in adult business and I've created erotica with people, and I talked with thousands about erotic fantasies, you see? And erotic fantasies, yeah, they are created in your illusion, in your imagination. It's not a real subject, okay? You can't touch the fantasy, right? It's imaginative. It is, a product of our mind, okay? And it's related with our emotions, because fantasy, if we imagine this, it does change our hormone substances, right, inside our body. By fantasy, we can imagine and we can come, okay? And you don't need a woman even next to you. You don't need to touch a human. You see how powerful it is, this imagination, right? So I spoke with many people, like too many. You would not even, if I say thousands, you cannot imagine. But through many years, I did spoke with a lot of people, especially, like I say, it's related to adult business, okay? And what I've noticed is this, that, erotic fantasies or people who touched by alter ego, and like I say, alter ego is certain demon. That's how I see it, okay? And when I say I see it, I actually can see it, On some people I can, right? You can take it. You see, there are different type of alter egos, but you can actually transfer this. This is like energetical leash or an energetical virus, I would even say, okay? And it can come to you or enter your body when you are young, okay? Or it can enter your body and change when you are adult, okay? Especially the brazing, okay, in actually top environments, okay? Where very high positions are, okay? When people experience a lot of stress, when there are a lot of money going on in their lives. Okay, I'm not only talking about that, right? But they are there, and I've noticed this extremely, totally different alter egos, okay? So when I speak about, about egos or about demons, I would see it as a scale of the thermometer, okay? And thermometer starts where it's very hot, then goes to the zero, and then goes into the minus, okay? So at very hot one, scales one, I would say these are alter egos which are very passionate and extreme, edgy and positive, still positive, because you see our erotic experience or our sexual interaction, it's brutal, and if the child will see it, it would associate with violence, okay? Because if you're being, if you're being uncontrolled, okay? When you have an intercourse with someone and want to experience climax, you let yourself go, and that's where those alter egos shows, okay? You shows, I could see them on people when they're relaxed, okay? They become different people. During sexual interaction, their faces even changing, okay? No, seriously. People before and after, before the sexual scene or erotic, experience, and after, they have a transformation in their body and in their face. When I talk about transformation, you could see on other people that these ones, they have a great time together. You could see on their faces, and you can see a contraceptive face when they do not have any intimacy. You see? Let me just quickly verify myself. Okay, so I would like to finish this because it was, oh my God, 63 minutes. I would not download this video very easy. So I need to finish the live, but like I say, you see, I'm full of information. And if you ask me questions, you will get even more information, about different kind of topics, right? But here on this video, I am trying to connect and put some parallels, okay? Parallels in adult life, in intimacy, in satisfaction, in living your own life, okay? In being ill and healthy, okay? I'm focusing on the point that being intimate, creating art, being connected with yourself, confident and sexually matched with yourself, mind and body, right? It just benefits you, okay? People who are blocked, they feel ill, they're hiding. Today I spoke with one person. You see, adult person, it's a normal situation when they want to inquire about erotic photo shoot and they cannot speak about this. This topic is stuck in their throat, And he's like, he's trying to tell me about, you know, do you do this? Do you shoot nude photography? Do you shoot couples? And people are so much blocked within them, they do not even realize how deep it is, rooted in their bodies and in their minds. Okay, when they come for erotic photo shoot, they realize, but there are, I have to say, majority of them, they will never step the foot into the studio. They're just too scared. Okay, too scared. When people are scared to present themselves, to express themselves, they are in child's vibration. That's the saddest thing, that majority of adults are still vibrating in the traumatic experiences and in the child's energies. Okay, and child's energies, unfortunately, and I know this on my experience because I went through this. The more I grow up, the better my life gets. Okay? Before I couldn't even, you know, I was shy and scared to go live and talk about my topic, okay? And in general, put my face out. It's a child's energy. Who are scared? Children. Children are scared to do anything, you know? And then it reflects in other, you know, sphere, in other parts of your life. And the saddest thing is the children do not have, you know, relationship. And they do not have money, they just have little bit. Just little bit, you know. So that's how it is. Okay, and when the adults stay in this energy, you know, the world becomes very limited and very sad place. And then they, you know, they are these children who don't know the way out, how to get out of that situation. And then they get the tumor or the cancer. They can choose which one they want. And like I say, every illness, serious illness which happens within our body, no one actually gives this to us. This is we grow the tumor and the cancer. There is no one else but we. Okay? Our body, it happens in our body. Our body creates it. Okay? I'm laughing now, you know. I have not checked anything, but I'm seriously feeling okay. And I don't want to. I'm not interested, right? Hello, new here. Hopefully your day is well. What is the conversation about? The conversation is finished. I am making a video, okay, for one of my followers who would like to know about my experience. And because I'm an erotic photographer and I've discussed oncology, okay, I just want to relate those two topics. Okay, oncology, cancer, tumors, I want to relate with, you know, with your confidence, with your positive energy, with your being brave and defeating it, right? And being forward and in tune with your body, knowing how to fix yourself, right? By using art, by using creative energy, and of course by being cool about it, right? I'm finishing this topic. Did you get intimacy this morning? You know what? I didn't. I already told that my partner died last year. I haven't found anyone. Okay? I haven't found anyone yet. So that's the thing. Exactly right. Gorgeous, divine goddess. Okay. Apple cider vinegar. Okay, where are you the most ticklish? The most ticklish. When I was a little girl, I was ticklish, and then I stopped. Okay, I just taught myself that I don't want to be ticklish anymore. Okay, and I learned not to be. Okay, we can teach ourselves many things. Okay. Remove the tumor, grow back the spine, okay, and stop being ticklish. I did, you know, I'm able to do this. Okay, about the apple cider vinegar. Okay, there are people who will tell you a lot of things. Okay, this one, that one. Don't listen to anyone. Okay, don't listen. You have your own robot. You have your own pharmacy. Okay, you are a very unique machine. Don't listen to anyone. Anyone. Your body has to say this to you. Okay? And if you cannot hear your body, right, you can do many things, nothing will work. Okay? This is the first thing. That's why the photography works, because you need to know yourself first. Okay? Nothing will help. Don't, seriously, you want to waste your time, you waste it. Your body needs to indicate certain things and ask for it. Okay? That's how it is. And people who are going around and advising have no clue. Okay? Just have no clue. There is one and the only cure to every tumor and a cancer is your pharmacy. Your pharmacy created this, and your pharmacy will demolish it. Okay? That's the only way. What you can use is an extra energy resource. Yes, that's something what is very important. Okay, that is something what is very important. And at that moment I remembered when my brother died. Okay, my brother was burned in a fire, and he had 80% of his body burned. Okay, and when you go to clinics, the burn clinics will know how to restore the cells. They would use a lot of fat. Okay, so in this clinic you can check this, how you grow the cells. In the burn clinics they know, in other clinics they're not aware for some reason. So that's the thing. But what I've realized is that when you are there, you always have to support the person who is not able to support himself. For example, the person like my brother in a coma, you have to be there. You have to be present physically and mentally, and your energy has to be positive. Okay, because if you come with the grief and with the sorrow and with guilt and with the blame and with the punishing yourself, or why is this happening and so on, this is not the right energy. Okay, people do need an energy resource, and energy is like a transaction. Okay, and that's what helps. Okay, usually when we go to see any medical professional, that's an energy transaction. That's like a psychological therapy, you see. And drugs, what they prescribe you is another transaction towards a pharmacy. Okay, but in the reality, these drugs, you know what they do. Okay, they affect a certain symptom and then they harm the rest of the body. The system exchanges, right? So your body is fighting a really long time, and if it's able to defeat it, because it's very powerful. You see, if it's created a tumor, it can uncreate it too, right? That's how it works. And in general, I believe everything is being programmed by by there. There is a program there, and you just have to go through this experience. That's all. Okay, let me just quickly finalize this. Is there any exactly right? Good, someone is agrees. Did you get some? Okay, that's, I already read this. There are a lot of questions about love this morning. I can tell you about this love this morning. This is another situation that was removed from our lives. Okay, in general, I believe that you have to have a partner, because this is your cure and your remedy. That's the only medicine how to say, treatment you should get. Okay, in the morning, right? Morning, make love. I can't say this word from S, because it's complicated for me to talk about erotica. And so yeah, make love in the morning. This is the only medicine what you should do, right? Now people go into face yogas, into fitness, and do some push-ups in the gym. But in the reality, we are created to be together, connect with each other, and of course distress our bodies and restore our energy resources. That's why we need a partner. You can't do it by yourself. All of that. Okay? You can't do the climax by yourself. Okay? You mean like you can do it to a certain level, to a certain extent. It's kind of empty. It satisfies you to a certain moment, but emotionally you do not get that energy charge or a release. It's different, right? When you are with a human. But your mind, again, it's a very tricky fella. It actually creates an illusion that you had, okay, and it believes that you had, and then your body thinks that you had, right? But when you try it for real, you will know that there is a difference, okay? There is a difference, right? So I would recommend everyone. That is why I've started this erotic photography. I want to bring this reality back to life, okay? Because the place where I came from, the intimacy and intimate connections were bad. You see, people were embarrassed and shy to talk about it, to show this, and it wasn't cultivated at all. There was no education, and the first thing what we need to learn in school is relationship and nutrition, maybe, So everyone knows how to eat healthy and everyone knows how to create relationship, because these two things are essential, okay? Are essential. But does our education system focus on that? No. That is why people eating poo. I'm sorry, I apologize for this word, okay? And then they stay lonely, okay? Because they do not know how to reconnect if they have a situation in their relationship, right? And then it is hard to approach someone, it has to maintain, and they do just grow up and do not understand, okay? So these are two subjects has to be, in my opinion, okay, added to any education system. Children has to know two things, what is important, okay? What they're teaching them is just obedience, okay? To be slaves. That's what to break us. Okay, little bit. What is a little bit? Okay, oh, wonderful. Both topics tell people so much about themselves. Yes, yes, yes. Okay, you sound like my ex. Really? I really like her then. Okay, kiss me. Are you Russian? No, I'm not. I'm not Russian. Unfortunately. Okay, I'm not Russian. But, some people cannot recognize the accent. Okay, so they think this way, which is fine. Okay, thank you so much for your attention. I need to go. We had a lovely chat, and thank you for listening for this. It is just my first video where I'm trying to connect and explain, okay, about oncology, about any kind of body reaction illness. The reason why I talk about it, adults have a lot of traumatic experiences in the past, and that's why they create erotic photo shoots. And when they have experiences in adulthood related to body confidence, to body issues, okay, to illnesses and disease, right? They also need to fix themselves and see themselves in a different way and justify themselves and love themselves back, okay, and just want to state that they are alive, that they're feeling, that they're beautiful, that they're worthy, that they're still sexy, that they are still having intimacy with the couple. That's why they do erotic photo shoots, okay? So I am absolutely capable and able to work with people who had conditions, different conditions, okay? Is it the psychology? Is it the physiology? People have issues in their heads and in their bodies, right? One or the other or both, okay? I never assume that, everything is fine if she is feeling great. Then you talk to people, start shooting, and you can see, there are energetic blocks, okay? Seriously, people do not see this. There are mental blocks, right? In terms of erotic photography, we can go very deep into the blocks, right? Which are represent themselves straight away. People feel, how to say, not brave in front of the camera, shy, embarrassed, do stupid things, okay, scared. Adult people are scared, even to talk about it, okay, even to talk about it. That is normal. I like to go really deep, very well. So I'm gonna be translating more and more very soon. Okay, very soon. But what I'm gonna do is this, okay? Because my conversations are too deep here, and I have to adjust my speech to a social media. I do have a Telegram channel where I will try to make lives and invite everyone there. Okay, then I can open my vocabulary, and name things like they're supposed to be named. Right here, I am, I'm aware. Okay, what I should not say or say, which words I should use or not use. Right, I would like to speak freely. Okay, I don't want to limit myself. I don't want to limit anyone in my photo shoot. When I shoot erotic photography or make love scenes, they can do anything. Okay, they can come, they can scream, they can fart, whatever. Okay, that's a raw, real, body reaction in certain things, right? I don't want to limit myself on these lives. And honestly, I do. Okay. Honestly, I do. So what I will use this in the future, I'm thinking to doing it, just announcements, okay, and invitations on TikTok, and then move people who wants to listen about erotic photography and things related to that to Telegram. There are no limitations there, especially if you're doing a private stuff. In a private club. So that's my plan, just sharing the ideas, and of course it will save me a lot of time. Because now I would need to download this video, cut this video, just blah, 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 right? Okay, thank you so much, and love you, kiss you, mean it, and I'm gonna see you later. And yes, Julia started talking about erotic photography. I am planning to do it more in August because I will be more free, okay? So in August you will see me and you will hear me more. Okay, now goodbye. And was nice seeing you here. Let me just, I forgot how to switch off. Yes.